It was
Important
literally
memories,
my brother's
lost times.
sixth day, literally about to celebrate an entire week of being out of prison. He decided to go out to celebrate. He didn't have any restrictions. He wasn't on house arrest. He was on informal probation, so he didn't have to show up to a probation officer or anything. Everything was going good. Like I said, he'd been out 6 days, and at this point in time in his life, 6 days was a long time for my brother to stay out of trouble. However, he decided he was going to go out one night, celebrate, and I decided, you know what? It'd probably be a good idea because I'm one of the only brothers that can talk him down from his nonsense. And I'm not going to lie to you, my brother was a ladies' man, good-looking fella, and still to this day, he takes after his brother, his little brother, good-looking. Ladies loved him. And he had a way with words, so they really, really, really loved him. We were at the bar. He starts talking to this girl, and I noticed as he's talking to her, this woman keeps walking over to a table where there's a bunch of guys. I told my brother, I said, man, I don't know what's going on, but this woman's either playing you or she's playing them guys at the table. Either way, I don't see how this is going to turn out good. My brother being my brother, he wasn't worried about anything. Everything turns out good for him in his mind. No matter what the situation is, he'll make it good. Hence the reason he was always in trouble. No matter all the effort that I put into trying to keep him from leaving with this lady did me zero good whatsoever. His mind was set on going with this woman wherever it is that she was going, and his mind was also set that he didn't need me there to watch after him. He was my older brother, and it was embarrassing in his eyes is what he said. About 2 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings. Now, we had the rotary phones back then, so when these things rang, everyone in the house and everyone for 2 houses in either direction could hear that phone ring. 2 o'clock in the morning, and you get a phone call, and you know it's not good. You know it's not good. So reluctantly, I picked up the phone, and I hear my brother frantically on the other end. He said, man, you got to come get me, and you got to come get me now. I said, what's going on, man? Where you at? He said, no more questions, just come get me. And he gave me the address and the cross streets. I knew the neighborhood pretty well, so I knew exactly where he was talking about. I show up to the place, and my brother gets in my car, and he's sweating beads. And he's not even all the way dressed. He's actually in his boxer shorts, no shirt, no shoes, no socks. I said, bro, what's going on? He said, man, I woke up to go to the bathroom, and there was a guy laying in the bathroom floor. He said, I moved him a few times. He wasn't budging. He said, I went into the other room to get the girl up. She gets up, and when she gets up, the guy that was laying next to her, which was supposed to be me, he wasn't moving or talking either. So I explained to my brother, I said, man, we're going to have to call, man, the police. Like, you can't just walk away from this scene like this. They're going to know you were here, and it's just going to get you in more trouble. Now, he was adamant about getting away from that area. We're cool with calling the police. I just don't want to be there. Now, my first thought was, did he have something to do with this? Because he is really, really, really set on not being anywhere near that scene when this takes place. And if you have nothing to hide, or if you're not guilty, what do you got to hide from? Why wouldn't you stick around and tell these police what you seen? So now my mind's racing. I looked my brother dead in the eye and I said, man, I'm gonna ask you something. You gotta be completely honest with me. What's your part in this? He said, man, I have no part. When we got to the apartment, I thought me and this lady was gonna have something going on. But she had a couple of the guys there, and she showed more interest in the one guy than she did me. Now, she come outside, and she had this stuff, and she was wanting everyone to do. He said, man, I'm not trying to ruin my last few days. You know, tomorrow I get pulled out of this, or today I get pulled out of this situation, and I'm a free man. this can't be right. Like, I don't want to be involved in this. Like, I literally took nothing. I had nothing. I wasn't even involved in anything that took place that night. I actually passed out from the drink she made me. He said, and to be honest with you, I think she may have put something in it. I didn't feel too good. Now, it only took a couple days for these detectives to find my brother through his fingerprints throughout the house, and they come to question him. When they got to that apartment, the girl was missing. My brother's pants, his wallet, everything was there. And one of the most unfortunate things is a few packets of the things that caused the loss of these people's lives were also in my brother's pocket. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Knowing my brother at that time, this wasn't out of his realm. I don't think he would have done anything intentionally, but wasn't out of his realm. So I went to the only person that I knew that, aside from myself, that could actually talk some sense into Corey and get Corey to tell the truth. One thing he didn't do was lie to my grandmother. He would lie to mom and dad. He would lie to brothers, sisters, but he never lied to my grandmother. My grandmother sat him down and asked him what happened. He told the exact same story to her. My grandma said, well, whatever happens, I will get an attorney and we'll get this straightened out. But at the meantime, they're wanting to arrest my brother for conspiracy and quite a bit of other really, really bad charges. That's when one of the detectives looked at me. He told me to turn around and put my hands behind my back because of the fact that I drove out there to pick my brother up, and I already knew what had happened. That leaves me as an accessory to this whole fact too, or the accessory after the fact. Now, I looked at my brother and I said, man, I don't know what's going on, but I want you to fix this because you're getting me involved in something. I have no clue what's going on. My brother's kind of angry now, and he was totally against the police department at the time, even though our uncle was the chief of police. My brother just always felt like they was after him. To be fair, had nothing to do with that. My brother just could never keep things in line or in order. So we both go down, and I've got to try to figure out what I'm going to do because I don't know anything about none of this. I dropped him, went and picked him up. That's all I did. I went and picked him up. Now, as I'm sitting down at the police station, somehow or another, they got a hold of this girl, and they brought her in for questioning. When the girl walks in, the first thing she does is points me and my brother out as being the people who brought the stuff to the party that took the lives of these two men. Lucky for me, not only did the entrance, it was a gated community apartment. You had to actually say what number apartment you were going to a security guard for them to open the gate. Lucky for me, there were cameras all around that entire apartment, and one of those cameras just happened to be facing her apartment. That camera showed that I showed up there about 2:33 a.m. in the morning, and it showed my brother walking out. Now, that gets me out of trouble, but because my brother come out butt naked and seemed as if he was in a hurry as he was getting into my car, it didn't look too good on him. My brother did 89 days in jail. He was about to do his 90th day, and he was going to be released again. Unfortunately, we're not sure, but we think the girl had something to do with it. My brother never made it out. Crime don't pay, you guys, at no level. Stay out of trouble, keep your mind right, stay focused, go out there and get your young kids an education, because you find yourself in a situation you'll never get out of. I promise you that. Have a great day.